Good morning, fastball fans, and welcome to Championship Saturday here at the ISC World Tournament. We're at Circle Tap Bar and Grill, just on the outskirts of Denmark, Wisconsin. Blair Setford, Joe Todd with you on the ISC network. The New York Gremlins on the field, Hill United Chiefs coming to the plate. Joe, this game is a little bit earlier in the tournament than we might have expected, but we're going to be in for a treat. These two teams, Joe, have been the marquee matchup over the last decade, and they seem to be totally incapable of playing a boring game against each other.
This will be a really good game. This is game 68. Blair, you and I have been here for 9 days already in the Green Bay, Denmark area, and I just can't believe how quickly it's flown by.
It has been a quick week. It does seem like it's downhill on roller skates the last couple of days indeed. This is the first of 4 games that we're going to bring you on the ISC network. Let's set the batting order for the Hill United Chiefs. Brad Ezekiel leading things off for the Chiefs. Shane Boland, Nick Shales, Bruno Matroni in the 4 spot, Tony Gonzalez, Josh McGovern, Alan Pecker, Jonathan Lynch, and Scott Patterson having a whale of a tournament. Joe Todd hitting in the 9 spot.
I love him coming out of that 9-hole.
Defensively for the New York Gremlins, Matthew Waugh on left, Benanoka center, Brian Avery is in right field, Jerome Remeke, Cole Evans, Ladislaw Marozook, and Erica Choa around the horn on the infield. On the board, it's Jack Besgrove pitching to Nick Mullins. First pitch, just outside, ball 1. Our start time is 10:55. Joe, not a lot of changes in these lineups from yesterday. It seems like we've settled on a lineup for the Gremlins now with Zenon Winters in at DP, Malarzook at second, and Avery in right. For the Chiefs, this has been pretty much what they've gone with all week.
Yes, you pretty well have to stay with those top 9 guys that you've been using with in these key games. Very important you stay on a roll.
Well, you got to get on to a roll. Both of these teams winners yesterday afternoon in the losers bracket to advance to this losers bracket semifinal game. And Besgrove way up and out of the zone. 3-1 to Bradley Ezekiel. In tight to Ezekiel, ball 4, walk the lead-off batter, and Joe, right now, first batter, Jack Besgrove looks a little erratic to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he didn't warm up properly or didn't stretch out properly, but he's going to have to work those kinks out real quickly.
Shane Boland to the plate. And upstairs, 5 out of 6 pitches have been a ball for Besgrove. And upstairs again. And Joe, just the body language there from Besgrove right after that pitch. He was really disappointed in the location of the ball, but also the velocity looks a little bit off right now too. That's a much better pitch. He zips that in for a strike. It's very early days. If you're just getting in with us, we've started a couple of minutes earlier than our 11 a.m. start time, about 5 minutes early. Took advantage of no games being on the field in front of us. And the Gremlins and Hill United Chiefs getting us underway on Championship Saturday here at the ISC World Tournament. Shane Boland steps back. He's got a 2-2 count. Felt that pitch was a little bit high in the zone. Bradley Ezekiel's out on first. He walked on 5 pitches. And upstairs to Boland, a full count.
If he happens to be back out of that strike zone, I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Mullins calls time and goes out and uses up his defensive conference.
And this is a line shot out to second, and they've got Bradley Ezekiel hung up. And Ladislav Maler-Zuk snaps it over to first for the double play. That's a bad break for the Hill United Chiefs. Hits it hard, right on the screws, but right at Maler-Zuk. Ezekiel with the good break, and nothing you can do as a base runner there, Joe.
That's a relief for Jack Besgrove right there to get that hard shot right at Ladislav.
Well, and there was the defensive conference that you called for, Joe, and that was a one-way conversation. Mullins to Besgrove, a slap on the chest, and let's get better right away.
Mm-hmm. True leader back there behind the plate.
Nick Shales to the dish. Called a strike. Outside corner. That was much better location from Besgrove right there. That one up and away. Teams have been working Shales upstairs, Joe, and they've had some success with that here this week.
I don't think Jack can find his release point right now on that rise ball.
Nick Shales lifts this one out to center right, but Benanoka will range back on the track to gather that one in. It ends up being a 3-up, 3-down inning for Hill United in the top of the first. We'll go to the bottom half, the New York Gremlins coming to the plate.
Whether you want to improve your grip in wet conditions or just to find the control you've been looking for, the Gorilla Gold Grip Enhancer has become the most recommended name in softball and in every sport where grip plays an important role. Gorilla Gold is the only grip enhancement approved by the ISC, ASA, and NCAA.
My name is Michael Holobradek. I'm from Czech Republic, playing for Hill United Chiefs, and I'm using Gorilla Gold.
My name is Pablo Miglievaca from Argentina, and for every game I use Gorilla Gold.
Hola, mi nombre es Samuel Villalbazo, pitcher de la Selección de México, y en todos mis juegos uso Gorilla Grip.
Hi, I'm Adam Folkard, I play for the Hill United Chiefs from Australia, and I've been using Gorilla Gold my whole life. My name's Jack Besgrove from Australia, and I can't pitch without Gorilla Gold.
Gorilla Gold, the feel for the game.
Joe Todd back here for the bottom of the first inning, and let's set the batting order for the New York Gremlins for this one. Matthew Waugh will be leading off, Jerome Remeke, Benanoka, Eric Ochoa, Zenon Winters back in the lineup, and the designated player stays in. Cole Evans, Brian Avery in right, Ladislav Maler-Zuk at second base, and Nick Mullins in the 9 spot for the Gremlins. Defensively, for the Hill United Chiefs, left to right across the outfield, Scott Patterson, Brad Ezekiel, Alan Pecker, and around the horn, Nick Shales, Shane Boland, Tony Gonzalez, Jonathan Lynch at first base. It's Michael Holobradek and Josh McGovern, the battery for the Chiefs. And Joe, no changes, no surprises for Hill United.
No, nothing at all. You danced with a girl that brought you to that. It's the same line I used yesterday, but these 9 guys on the field were the key guys all year, and they deserve to be on this field right now.
Well, we've talked all year long that Hill United was going to need to get big games out of Michael Holobradek when it came to the World Tournament. First pitch, that is just foul. Oh, my gosh, that was foul by about 1.5 centimeters going over the orange bag. That clipped our first base umpire, I think, too, as he was trying to get out of the way. Joe, the blue crew out there?
Home plate umpires Glenn Brown, the first base umpires Jan Hora, and third base umpires George LeMaitre.
Well, an international crew, U.S. behind the plate. Czechia out at first and Canada over at third. It's not just international ball players, international umpires here as well. And Joe, maybe the hottest guy in the tournament, Matthew Waugh at the plate, and just a little bit further foul this time.
He's got to chalk up or something. Just pulling that ball just a little eager at the plate this morning.
I think he's seeing it, though.
Yes, yes.
Matthew Waugh came into yesterday, and get this, folks, he went 2 for 3, and it hurt his average.
I can't believe Jonathan Lynch is that far off the line. I would be
Well, after
tugging
the
him
first
in.
2 pitches, yeah, I'd be straddling the baseline. Way upstairs from Hollow Braddock. You won't get Matthew Waugh to chase that pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Matthew Waugh batting, I think, .667 now for the tournament. That one's downstairs. Two balls, 2 strikes on the leadoff batter for the New York Gremlins. Home run, line shot, power into the gaps, good speed on the base paths, can drop down a bunt when he wants to. And this one is laced the other way, but that's going to go foul down the left side. So he's got all the baselines covered right now, Joe.
Yes, you are correct. 8 for 12 so far at the plate. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs.
The Chiefs got a big game out of Michael Holobradek yesterday, Joe. Complete game victory, 6-3 over the Circle Top Dukes. And we talked during that game that they needed that from Michael to step up and to go the distance. Chopper on the infield, up and over the glove of Shane Boland. Matthew Waugh is going to take a big turn as it's fumbled out in left by Patterson. And Matthew Waugh clapping the hands and up to second base.
Good punch there by Matthew Waugh just to take the pitch that Holobradek offered to him.
Up over the glove, and they don't get to it as it splits the gap out in center. And I'm not sure if it was bobbled or not. I may have inadvertently said that it was fumbled by Patterson, but it looked like it just split the gap and got all the way to the fence. So a leadoff double to Matthew Waugh. Jerome Remeke to the plate, 4 home runs, leading the tournament. A bushel full of RBIs. And Joe, if you said to me, who's better than Jerome Remeke in the game right now, I'm not sure I have an answer.
No, one of the top guys in the game. You are correct. 7 RBIs on his log up to this point. He's looking for 8 with Matthew Waugh out at second base.
Well, he might be looking for 9 if he gets a pitch he can handle. Downstairs to Jerome Remeke. Joe, we've got a special guest in the booth, and we'll see if we can get him to join us on air when he's recovered a little bit. An overnight drive to get here, I understand. Steve Mullally is sitting behind us and enjoying the broadcaster's perch up here in the trailer. He's brought some dust-up swag with him. We've got a couple of T-shirts. We're going to come up with a couple of trivia questions, and we will get them out to you if you can come up with the answers to those trivia questions. So stay tuned with us for that. And Steve Mullally, we want to thank you for the sponsorship here on the ISC Network, Absolute Business Supply, and the Dust Up podcast. And hopefully everybody is tuning in to the Dust Up episodes when they come out. Joe and I listened to the Andrew Kirkpatrick episode on the way down here. Kept us highly entertained for about an hour and a half as some stories that you don't get to hear otherwise. Just great stuff from Steve Mullally, Jason Hill, and all the guests that they have. Reaches out and taps this one. Lynch has got to come get it. And Joe, I said yesterday that was the softest base hit I'd ever seen Jerome Remeke get. It replaces by this one here as he nubs it 14 feet in front of the plate. And because everybody plays so far back, he trots. Well, he didn't trot, but he runs down to first. He passed the ball on the way and is aboard with a base hit. The shortest base hit of his career for Jerome Remeke. Matthew Waugh up to third on the play. Ben Anoka up to the plate. I ran into Ben Anoka at the conclusion of the games last night on our way out of here, and we had a hug and a handshake, and I said, nice hit yesterday. He launched a big home run for the Gremlins in their win over JB. There goes, oh, I thought Remeke was going. He bluffed. He got me. And Benny said, oh, it's about time, Blair. Just felt like he had been scuffling a little bit here this week.
Just 4 for 14 so far.
No swing, says Jan Hora out at first base. At that point in the game, it was a tie game. Gremlins and JB were tied at 1.
Real clutch shot right at that time of the game.
And this one is right back up the middle. Anoka drives in Matthew Waugh with the game's first run, and these are the games where Ben Anoka comes alive. I can think of the 2015 or the 2016, I think it was, ISC championship game. Ben Anoka 4 for 4. It might have been a winner's bracket final. They all blend together now at this point. But Ben Anoka 4 for 4. I know he laced a couple down first base at you, Steve Malloy, at one point too.
I still remember it. It was when he's a right-handed batter. You're playing first base, but the guy sprays the ball everywhere over the field, and he hit a one-hopper at me that it was one of the hardest balls I've ever seen hit. But yeah, you're exactly right. He's a big game player, and
Inoka.
Oh, he dropped
Eric Ochoa hits this one out to the fence. Remeke gets the wave, slides in and scores. That ball was hit 1.5 miles into the air by Eric Ochoa out to the fence, and it's in between Brad Ezekiel, Scott Patterson. Maybe we'll see it on the replay, Joe. Perhaps a little bit of hesitation in between them.
Well, I think the wind tailed it. Wind took it to that left field.
And the wind is definitely playing a factor here, too. We're going to work on getting that replay back. And a meeting out on the mound, Nick Shales called this one, and he's doing all the talking right now. You see him with the ball. Pat on the back for Michael Holobratic. But definitely, yeah, Joe, you're absolutely right about the wind. A 2-0 lead now for the Gremlins. Still here in the bottom of the first inning, and already some activity in the Hill United bullpen as Joran Graham gets up out of the dugout. Zenon Winters to the plate. Anoka got up to second on the play. Ochoa at first. One of the longest singles we're going to see here today, likely. And a change of speed from Michael Holobratic gets Zenon Winters out on the front foot.
On a normal day, that's a can of corn, but that wind just took that ball. And I don't think there's a lot of communication between Brad Ezekiel and Scott Patterson either.
Maybe, maybe not. We're 242 feet away. We don't know for sure. Usually they are pretty good out there. Winters tries to push a bunt past Shales, but that's foul down the left side. But just judging by the flag, Joe, the wind is blowing out to left center, and that's exactly where Ochoa hit that high fly ball, and it did absolutely carry on Scott Patterson.
So important to get that next out. That first out
to Zenon Winters. The first out, exactly. All of this going on with nobody out. The bottom of the first inning. The Gremlins pulling off a double play in the top on a line shot off the bat of the two-batter, Shane Boland. Brad Ezekiel had walked, and that line shot to Ladislav Malarczuk, and Brad Ezekiel was caught 12 feet off the base. Nothing he could do on that play. He's getting a break on contact and just hung out. Holobratic touches the Gorilla Gold rag. And this one skips in, and that will give everybody a free base.
You just can't give extra bases away right now. Very key. That 60 feet is so important.
Well, we've seen this a couple of times because it puts a fly ball into play for a sac fly. And even a base hit could allow Ochoa to score too. This one is up off the screen. And Holobradic, Joe, just seems to be having difficulty finding the strike zone right now.
Yes, just not working, not on that same page with Josh McGovern.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Zenon Winters. And you've got to be so careful because if you lay one in here, Winters will pound it. That just missed up and in. Winters hung around the plate for an extra half second just to see if that was going to get called a strike. So bases loaded for Cole Evans. And Joe, it's only the bottom of the first, but this could be the ball game.
Yes, exactly. How many games have been won and lost in the first inning this week?
Chopper on the infield. They come to the plate. Snap throw down to first, and they got him at first. And a great bit of defense there by Holobradic, by McGovern, and by Jonathan Lynch to catch that throw blindly because it came right over the shoulder of Cole Evans.
Key double play right there.
So both teams turning doubles in the first inning. We told you right up front that these two teams were incapable of playing a dull game. Downstairs to Brian Avery, hitting 7 in the Gremlins order.
Holobradic with 22 pitches so far, 23.
It's been a long first, and if they can get out of this, Joe, with only giving up the 2 runs, I think they'll be able to consider themselves fortunate. 2-0 to Avery, big right-handed batter.
You have to be really careful with Avery. You want to keep that ball right at the knees or on that outside corner of the plate.
Gonzalez and Bolin shaded up the middle. Shales is uncharacteristically closer to the line now. He's drifting off to his left a bit, but still only 6 feet off the line. Normally he's 12 to 14 feet over. 2-1 to Brian Avery. Jordan Graham throwing with some intensity down the right field line. Long look in, and time is called by Shales. And they want to get the signals right, as this is going to be an umpire-assisted visit, and it is signals related. That's why Glenn Brown is out there with them. That is permitted. They've already had their defensive conference, so that one is permitted if it's signals related. Two and one to Avery. Let's get reset. And a called strike, or not. Was that called? That was not called.
No.
3-1 then. This one is laced out to right, tailing, but caught by Alan Pecker. And they do get out of the first, Joe, with only giving up the 2 runs. But the Gremlins strike first through 1 complete. Gremlins 2, Chiefs 0. Don't go away. It's not going to finish like that.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon. Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon. Welcome to Mont Hill.
Joe, that was a really long first inning.
Way too long for Hill United.
Jack Besgrove back to the board. He'll face Bruno Matroni, Tony Gonzalez, and Josh McGovern for the Hill United Chiefs, as this one misses upstairs for ball one. And Joe, we got a special guest who is joining us on air, Steve Mullally of Dust Up fame, of Hill United fame, of Team Canada fame. Steve, welcome to the ISC Network. Thanks for making the trip down from Ancaster, Ontario, as you get down to see the 2023 ISC World Tournament. I didn't think we'd be able to keep you away the whole week.
Oh, thanks for having me. I was lying, 2 nights ago. I was on the couch listening to you guys, watching the games. I said, oh, that bar and everything looks pretty good down here. Might make the trip down. But we got a hell of a Saturday in front of us right now.
Well, it's off to a bang, too, with these two teams. You have been involved in so many of these games, and when I listen to the Dust Up podcast with your guests, the games between these two teams always come up.
Yeah, and well, we're in the one right now because that first inning's so key, right? And everyone's seeing, okay, how are the pitchers?
Keep going.
Yeah, how are the pitchers going to come out, right? Because the batting lineups they're loaded top to bottom, right? And you got to win 3 games right now to win the tournament if you're one of these teams. So it's a bit of a chess match, and that's why when Zenon's at bat there with runners on second and third, and it was the 3-2 pitch, and they walked him. If I'm Hill United at that point, that's okay because you got more options with the bases loaded than you do. Okay, if he hits a 3-run bomb, all right, you're down 5-0, but you walk him, you see a chopper back to home plate, and then it's those little things that change a game, change a tournament.
Yeah, we talked about that and how many games are won and lost in the first inning. And this Chiefs team, I go back to 2015, got down 4-1 after the first inning of the 2015 championship game and come back and won that one in the later innings. That's not one of the trivia questions for the Dust Up t-shirt, by the way.
That's right. It's just this day at this tournament with these teams. It's where legends are made. It's where special moments that people are going to be talking about for the next 20 years are made. You hear us talking about it on the podcast all the time, from moments in days just like this 20 years ago, where Ryan Wolf makes a diving catch or Donnie Hale hits a massive bomb to win it. I'm excited.
Tony Gonzalez to the plate after the pop-up by Bruno Matroni, and no sooner do we get Tony Gonzalez announced in than Tony Gonzalez is sat down on strikes, and we will get down to Josh McGovern. Steve, you really only had 1 or 2 years with Josh as a teammate. What can you tell us about him?
He is the real deal in every aspect of the game. As a teammate, he is fantastic. He came into a team that's been established, and you look at the catchers that we've had. We had Jason Sanford, you got Bruno Matroni, and you got Josh coming in, and he's fantastic. He has a hell of an eye at the plate, very disciplined, power hitter, but a culture driver on the team. Nothing but great things to say about the guy.
7 walks so far in the tournament. for Josh McGovern.
Testament to the good eye. Just misses on the outside corner. All right, Steve, let's give away a T-shirt. Let's start with an easy one. And what we'll do is we'll use... Whose Twitter do we want to use? Yours? Mine?
Gonna have to be yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll use at BlairJS17 is the Twitter handle.
You see these shirts? Now, maybe on a break.
Well, we can do it like this. Luciano, can you come to the camera? The booth cam?
Whoa.
There's the Dust Up shirt that we're going to give away. We've also got it in red. There's the red one. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. We're going to go with an easy one to start, Steve. Let's go back to the 2021 ISC World Tournament.
All right.
And championship game.
Okay.
Josh McGovern works his 8th block of the tournament.
Maybe make it a twofold. Okay. Who was in the game?
Yep.
All right, because it can't be that easy.
All right.
So
who was in the game?
And then whatever your question was going to be.
Who were? Oh, that would be almost too hard. Who had the game-winning RBIs in the 2021 ISC World Tournament? For which team?
Yep.
And who did they beat? So a 3-part question.
I like it a lot.
So BlairJS17 on Twitter. The 2021 ISC World Tournament. Who had the game-winning RBIs for which team, and who was it against?
There we go.
For a dust-up T-shirt.
Alan Pecker at the plate now with 2 out and a runner at first base.
Pecker swings over the top. Nothing across for the Chiefs other than the walk to Josh McGovern in the top of the 2nd inning. We'll go to the bottom half. Stay with us on the ISC Network, and we'll find out who's going to win the first of these 2 dust-up T-shirts.
The New York Gremlins congratulate our own Dr. Bob Neidick on his induction to the ISC Hall of Fame as this year's recipient of the Bob Welby Memorial Recognition of Service Award. Dr. Bob is a 4-time ISC World Champ, winning his first 2 titles with the Kitchener River Shark Twins in 2008 and 2009. His second 2 came with us in 2018 and 2019, and he says, we're not done. Bob started in the game when he was 17 in Pennsylvania and played in a national championship in 1996. His first ISC World Tournament was 2004 in Fargo, North Dakota. Since 2012, he's been a Gremlins co-sponsor, and we couldn't be prouder of him to be recognized for all of his contributions to the game.
Congratulations, Dr. Bob!
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with 2 of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
You can say it, like Ryan got it.
Lead off the bottom of the 2nd inning for the New York Gremlins, the second baseman, Ladislav Malarczuk.
How about Malarczuk? There you go. You got it. It's early, Joe.
My
Go get
lips
coffee.
are tied.
I've been pronouncing that wrong for 10 years. So.
Malarczuk. My lips are tied. I forgot to have my coffee.
I went and asked him at the Hall of Fame breakfast just to make double sure, because I remember being told ages ago it was Malarczuk. I've always gone with that, and I asked him at the Hall of Fame breakfast, and he said, yeah, go with Malarczuk. So that's what we're going to do. Same with Remeke. Confirm that one with Romy as well. So we've got some answers coming in on Twitter. Ryan Boland is in first, but I'm told he's already got one of the T-shirts.
He's not getting one of these. He's a guest. He's a multiple guest, so we give our guests the swag as a thank you. And you've been on multiple times too. But,
yeah, and I appreciate that.
So he's not going to win this one.
All right, so Danny Mullins from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Mucky Dan on Twitter. Dan Mullins, a dust-up T-shirt will be coming your way.
Well,
we've seen a few others rolling in here, too.
That'll be easy to get it to him. Hilly will take it home to you, Mucky.
Eat the cake.
Yeah, you can go down.
That's right.
Pick that up at Lions Park, buddy. That's awesome. Great to see Mucky Dan.
The answer to the trivia question, who had the game-winning RBIs for which team and who were they against in the 2021 ISC World Tournament? Jason Hill for the Hill United Chiefs and against these New York Gremlins. So good three-part question, and thanks everybody who is rolling in with the answers. Mike Lewis, Adam Ellard. Adam Ellard, that was 2018 with the Cubs and the Gremlins, but a good try there. Malor-Zook way over deep in the hole to short. Shane Boland does a great job to track it down, but he's going to beat that out every time. Ladislav Malor-Zook with a slap single on the infield, and we'll go to the 9-batter, Nick Mullins. All right, Steve, let's come up with one more trivia question.
All right, give me a minute. I'll come up with something that I think will be a little bit challenging but interesting.
And Sean Givens comes in. He tells us a 3-run double for the bonus point, Sean, but I think the timing just a little late.
Yeah, that was a hell of a final too, man. When you're coming off the COVID year, and we're all happy to be back, and it was it was awesome. Another Hill Gremlins final, and Hilly does what he does on Saturdays at the ISC. That's one of the reasons I got in the truck and drove down last night.
Quentin Bruce, who was on the Hill roster. Not sure we can give T-shirts out to guys who were on the roster.
Hey, he's another guest. He gets his. Hey, Q, you're gonna get your one, but he's a student of the game, and hey, the guy showed up last night, didn't he?
Oh my gosh! Over that big tree out there in right field, just launched a shot for the Bear Creek Express, helped propel them to the ISC championship game.
So important for Holo Braddock to have a good, clean inning here. Start off with that single to Malor-Zook.
There goes Malor-Zook. Hot throw is high. It gets away from Shane Boland, but Brad Ezekiel and Tony Gonzalez there on the cover, but an easy stolen base for Ladislav Malor-Zook.
Just have to shut that door. Cannot allow another run to repetitively score every inning.
Blair, I decided something. I don't know the question yet, but it's going to be a trivia question from the Dust Up podcast. So you would have had to listen to one of the episodes to get the answer correctly. It won't be something you find in the ISC guide. It will be something that came from a story told on the Dust Up podcast.
All right, I like that. Out of the glove of McGovern. And Ladislav Malor-Zook, stolen base, and then the pass ball here, Joe, and he's up to third. Nobody out. Nick Mullins at the plate, the 9-batter for the Gremlins, and they're threatening again in the bottom of the second inning. Infield now, it's got to come in. Swing and a miss. That's a good off-speed pitch from Michael Holo-Braddock. Good changeup.
That was the pitch he needed right there.
Back to the top of the shop, Matthew Waugh. A couple of hard-hit foul balls before he got aboard with a double. And Joe, you just look at the way the jerseys are billowing on the players out in the field. That wind is picking up, and it is decidedly blowing out to center right, but it's swirling on. I look at the flag, it looks like it's almost blowing in, but when you look at the jerseys, they're blowing right to left.
Going to be a lot of fireworks today.
That pitch misses down. 1 ball, 1 strike to Matthew Waugh. Steve Mullally has got the question. Remember, you're going to have to be a Dust Up podcast listener.
Actually, I changed it up. We may have talked about it. I think we have, but I'm going to throw it out. Who is the pitcher that gave me the fits the most, that I hated facing in my career? And here's a hint. He is at the tournament this year.
All right, so somebody here currently in the game.
Someone at the tournament this year is the pitcher I struggle with the most.
All right, so Blair JS 17. Saskatoon Merchants, Pat Delaney, thanks guys for getting in. Trevor Iyer, Tyler Thompson, thanks as well. Drew Hathaway, Andrew Havercroft. That t-shirt has been won. So, who is the pitcher that's given Steve Mullally the most trouble over the years? At BlairJS17 is the Twitter handle.
Wasn't Varm, was it?
Has Varm pitched? I always thought Varm caught, but he's good enough to pitch and catch.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Blowing up my phone from Newfoundland talking about the... He wins.
Craig Butter. Butsy. Juan Podolicio is the correct answer.
I thought it would be like 10 down the list. But Butter comes up with the first one. 100% Juan Podolicio is the guy who has my number more than any other pitcher.
Matthew Waugh, hard hit to Shane Boland in the perfect position, just to the left of the circle, drawn in infield, and he throws out Matthew Waugh. And was it the curveball that Juan throws, that big swing bender?
He does. It goes on the same plane, and I'm a rise ball hitter, as you know, and you try and come out of your shoes sometimes, and he's made me look silly on more than one occasion.
Mike Lewis wants to know if it was Jason Hill.
Yeah, right. Listen, he had to hit me to keep me from hitting home runs against him.
We've all heard that story multiple times. Noted world-class pitcher Jason Hill.
We're waiting to name the pitching award after him here at the ISC one of these years.
Jason Hill says the answer is Jason Hill.
Of course.
Yeah.
Jerome Remeke swings over the top of a good drop ball.
How cool is it though, guys, that we're at this tournament. You got guys that are going to play the championship game tonight at home in their hotel rooms, listening to this broadcast. It speaks to the community that is fast pitch softball. It's not just fans. It's everything is kind of intermingled, and that's what I love the most about it.
Yeah,
that's why we've done the podcast.
This is such a great. It is a great fraternity community. And we love doing this, and the fact that the players are watching back at the hotel is great for us. We do see and hear all of the positive and the negative feedback, and it's constructive, and it helps us get better, and that's what we want to do, is continue to improve this. Luciano has just been such a game changer with Carol Tereste, with the drone coverage and the action camera and the replay and the multiple camera angles and everything that they bring to the game. It's really elevated what we've been able to do here on the ISC network. Complimentary stuff like the podcast that, I'd love to be doing player interviews. We just don't have the crew for it, and maybe we'll recruit you to do that in the future.
Where it's gone over the last, I'll say 10 years, but what you've brought to the league and the sport has been fantastic. And there's players home, everyone is entrenched in this, but what you guys do, and I was thinking about this 2 nights ago when I was sitting on the couch, is that these guys put so much into it. Travel, time, being here, expertise, you're so good at what you do, and I think anyone that's a fan of the game and is listening to this, you can't take for granted that this just shows up on YouTube. There's so much that goes into it, and thank you guys for not only what you do, but how good you guys are at it.
Well, thank you for that, and we really appreciate all those kind words, because there is a lot that goes into it. We do it because we love it, the same way that you're doing the podcast because you love it and you want to give back to the community. It's all about enhancing the sport and trying to grow the sport from the base that we've got and finding more avenues and outlets to get this sport the exposure it deserves. So, Steve Mullally, thanks for joining us here on the ISC network here in the second inning of what looks like yet another classic between the Hill United Chiefs and the New York Gremlins.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Let everyone watching get back to the action. That's what they're here to watch. But keep doing what you're doing, boys. It's excellent.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Jerome Remeke worked a walk after the ground out to Matthew Waugh, so he's out at first base. What a great conversation with Steve Mullally, who looks to be, Joe, in great shape. I mean, what I've heard is Steve is retired from fastball. He's taken up ultra marathons.
Oh, wow.
Because a marathon just isn't good enough. It has to be an ultra marathon. Benanoka launches one skyward, deep to center and way over the scoreboard and gone. Benanoka, a massive 3-run home run, puts the Gremlins out in front 5-0.
Wow, what a punch by Benanoka. 3-run shot here in that second inning. Just huge. The cream always rises to the top of that coffee there. Just a great job. Championship Saturday here.
A 5-0 lead now for the Gremlins, and that could have been a backbreaker, Joe. That was crushed. You just see it there clearing the scoreboard and disappearing into the trees that are beyond John Miller Field here at Circle Tap Bar and Grill, and the Chiefs just look shell-shocked.
Yeah, you just can't afford to put that ball down the middle of the plate like that.
Reese Evans is wanting an explanation on how many conferences Josh McGovern and the infield are going to get. Glenn Brown giving Reese the explanation. Shane Boland snuck in a visit while Reese and Glenn Brown were having the conversation, and he just very emphatically told Josh McGovern, that's it, that's your one.
Yep.
Eric Ochoa will step into the plate. And Braddock lost his landing spot there, Joe. He stumbled after he let go of the pitch. See him doing a little bit of landscaping.
Braddock up to 56 pitches so far, just in the second inning.
(2-0) to Eric Ochoa, who is, as we all know, very dangerous at the plate. You leave anything out, he can hit one into the trees at any time.
And he'll use the whole field.
Upstairs to Ochoa, cleanup batter for the Gremlins. So Benanoka goes from 4 for 14 to 6 for 16. And he is not far off of recovering up to a 500 batting average, and he'll be in contention, Joe, for yet another All-World nomination, I got to think. That's what I think. 5 RBIs in the last. Well, he got an RBI in the first inning too.
Yes, he did. He's got 4.
And this one is drilled right back up the box by Eric Ochoa. He will round first and be happy with that base hit and look skyward. 4 RBIs already in the game for Benanoka, and I think that's going to be it for Michael Braddock. Here comes Jeff Ellsworth. Here comes Jordan Graham right behind him. So that will be a pitching change coming 1 2/3 innings is it for Holla Braddock. We'll go to a break. Gremlins in control. Joe Todd, Jordan Graham on in relief of Michael Holla Braddock. 2 out here in the bottom of the second inning. First pitch is skipped. Eric Ochoa will get up to second base. And Joe, I've been talking a lot offline with Jeff Ellsworth over the last couple of weeks as the Chiefs have been considering their options around pitching due to the injuries that have just decimated this staff. Adam Fulkerd has been injured. Daniel Chapman had to go back home to New Zealand on the advice of medical personnel because of his back injury. Michael Holla Braddock is playing injured, and that one is laced down the line. Eric Ochoa was getting the wave from Reese Evans, but thought better of it. And he pulls up, and Reese Evans is giving a bit of a clap on the back to Eric Ochoa. That one was not that deep. Scott Patterson was on it pretty quickly. Runners at first and third. Cole Evans now to the dish. And just to wrap up the story on the Hill United pitching, Jordan Graham was not going to pitch with the Niagara Stompers, was going to be the odd man out, asked to be released from the Stompers with the opportunity to join the Chiefs team given their pitching situation. So that's how that transpired. And then Juan Podolicio, a late addition to the roster on a hardship approval to be able to give the Chiefs 3 pitchers for the tournament. Adam Fulkerd is here, and we know has tried to throw on the sidelines and just hasn't been able to. This one is launched to left field and gone. Joe Todd, another 3-run home run here in this inning. Cole Evans deposits this one into the forest out behind John Miller Field, and the route, Joe, is on.
Yes, another key punch again. Man, did he ever pull that ball. He just sat and waited for it, too.
Well, Scott Patterson didn't even move on that big fly ball off the bat of Cole Evans, and he has come alive here at the sharp end of the tournament, Joe.
Yeah, 7 for 16 now.
But a couple of key home runs for the Gremlins, too.
Again, all this happening with 2 out.
So base is empty, and Brian Avery to the dish. Six runs in this bottom of the second inning. Chopper in the infield. Boland behind the bag will toss to first for the final out of the inning, but the New York Gremlins, 2 big 3-run home runs off the bats of Ben Anoka and Cole Evans have propelled them now to this commanding 8-0 lead through 2 complete.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business. This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about...
There was a look into the Hill United bench, and some long faces over there right now, Joe, after that bottom of the second inning. You see the crowd that is building here at Circle Top. We've got 4 big games here on Championship Saturday. We're going to bring all of them to you. We'll follow up this one. The winner of this will roll right into a matchup with the Niagara Stompers. That's the losers bracket final, the 3rd place game. This is the 4th place game. Then we'll have the Legends Championship around 4 p.m. this afternoon. Their semifinals are going on right now. Sudbury Relics and All Season Patriots in one, and Coburg Force and CR Brewers in the other. Sudbury Relics, the defending champions, Joe, and they've won 2 of the last 3. CR Brewers won the other one, so we might get a matchup of
repeat
previous champions. Jonathan Lynch at the plate, who's had an absolute whale of a tournament for the Chiefs, and Ladislav Malor-Zook on the backhand, just so smooth over there at second base. Retires Jonathan Lynch, one of the few times anybody's been able to retire Jonathan Lynch. He's had a great tournament, having a great tournament.
Great range by Malor-Zook there. That's the type of play that you almost have to be on the field to make, and you want to repetitively do it. You've been in that situation before. You know where that glove's got to be. You're going to put your body in front of that ball. Malor-Zook did it to a T.
Scott Patterson, another guy who, in his ISC World Tournament debut, Joe Todd, there's a Kevin Herlihy Award that is handed out during the award ceremony, the Newcomer of the Year Award. And I got to think Scott Patterson is in contention for that. I believe that this is his first tournament. Maybe we can... I'll double-check that. I've got all the rosters on my computer. But
he's been there.
In and out of the glove of Bestgrove, Malor-Zook tries to swat it over to first, handball style, but He's got a chuckle about that. I'm going base hit for Patterson on that. Not going to take a base hit away. Hit it hard.
Nope.
So back to the top of the shop. I think they just announced him as Blair Esico, but it's Brad. Blair, of course, plays for the hometown Circle Top Dukes, and maybe just a little bit of announcer familiarity there on the PA. Brad Esico at the dish. Upstairs to Brad. There it is. They get the correction.
His mom probably called the announcer.
She may have.
Sylvia.
In for a strike to Ezekiel Bestgrove, working pretty quickly right here, right now. Joe, the young left-hander. Looks like he's got his feet under him, too. This 8-0 lead, a lot more comfort level out there. Didn't think that was a great first from the youngster.
No, just never wasn't prepared for the game, maybe timing-wise, but now so far back here in the third inning, he's on a bit of a positive role there.
Bradley Ezekiel gets into this one. This one is deep and gone. A 2-run home run for Brad Ezekiel, and there is some lice in the Chiefs just yet. Do not give up on this team. Do not.
Brad Ezekiel got all of that pitch and drove it. Just peck away now. Pick up a run here, pick up a run there. All of a sudden, you're back in this game.
You see the big helmet that the Chiefs have been using for home run batters all year long on the head of Brad Ezekiel. And that pitch, center cut, and Bradley Ezekiel deposits that one in and amongst the trees. Just a slight delay as we get the entire Chiefs roster back into the dugout. Shane Boland looks at this one up and away. In for a strike, and Bestgrove right back to it, Joe. Can't let that bother you here at this point. You know that your offense is clicking. You just need to throw strikes and look to get outs. 2-1 to Shane Boland. Out to Cole Evans, and he'll toss to first to record the out on his counterpart.
Third baseman, Nick Shales.
I see how smooth Cole Evans is here. Down to one knee, sets the feet, makes the strong throw to first on the money. That's a clinic in good defense. Fundamentally sound, Joe. When you do the fundamentals, you make the plays.
Well, and you learn your fundamentals in practice. So for all you youngsters out there listening, work hard at practice.
Jack Bestgrove picks that one up off the bat of Nick Shales. Bradley Ezekiel, a big 2-run home run, gets the Hill United Chiefs on the board. It's 8-2 as we'll go to the bottom of the third. We'll see if the Hill United Chiefs can throw up a 0 against this Gremlins attack. Glenn Brown will get home plate cleared off for us as we'll start the bottom of the third inning. Ladislav Malor-Zook, Nick Mullins, and then back to the top of the shop for Matthew Waugh.
Malor-Zook 4 for 9 so far in the tournament. Had a single back in the second and scored.
This one is lofted up to left, but with that wind, that's going to be trouble. Scott Patterson is chasing that one. And just foul. I just saw somebody downstairs go like this, making the 2 inches sign. And right back to the screen, Malor-Zook. Trying to slap his way on again. He did that back in the second inning, started that whole party.
And he punched it the other way.
Well, right to
Shane Boland.
Past Nick Shale. Shane Boland tracked it down, but no opportunity to get the speedy Malor-Zook at first. And that kicked off that whole 6-inning affair for the Gremlins an inning earlier. I want to thank everybody that was sending in the answers to the trivia questions. Steve Mullally joining us through that second inning and gave away a couple of Dust Up Podcast t-shirts. We'll make sure that those get out to you. Dan Mullins. And Craig Butter. This one is flied up in the infield as Shales is going to track that over, falls behind the dugout. Jordan Graham is on in relief of Michael Holobradek. Joe, what was the line on Holobradek? He ended up with 1 2/3 innings, I think responsible for, 5 of those 6 that happened in that inning, plus the 2 in the first?
Total of 6 runs in that, 7 hits, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout.
Not the start that Michael and the Chiefs might have hoped for. Malor-Zook down on strikes. Nick Mullins to the plate. In for a strike. And this is where now Jordan Graham has got to keep the door closed. And the Chiefs just need to, if you can score a couple of runs every inning and get back into this. We've seen this before. I go back a couple of years ago to a U.S. national championship, and not that I'm looking for this, trust me. These two teams played a 4-hour, 11-inning game.
No,
we're not looking for a 4-hour game out of the two of them. But we're looking for a comeback here, potentially for the Chiefs.
Well, just take it in small bites. Get a couple hits here, put it all together, pick up a couple runs per inning. Come the latter part of the game, you'll be right back in there. Mullins, his second time at the plate, struck out back in the second.
Well, works a walk here. It's that pitch inside from Jordan Graham, and Matthew Waugh to the dish. Joe, head coach Greg Leather has had to depart the tournament with the impending arrival of his first grandchild. So he and his wife and son are Florida bound. They're probably there by now. If I know Greg, he's probably sitting in the hospital waiting room with his iPad set up and watching the game. So Greg, hope everything is going well on that end, and we wish you and the family all the best. And I know that your New York Gremlins are in safe hands with Reese Casely, Greg Hicks, Nick McCurry, Matt Allen, Samantha Carter, well, even Var Matiosian, the entire coaching staff on the Gremlins side.
Do they still hand out cigars in the birth of children, Blair?
Well, they didn't for my kids. I think the hospitals frown on smoking these days. So,
yeah, I guess so.
I know I went and got a few. I didn't know you back then, or I would have given you one. Called a strike on Matthew Waugh. Out to the left center gap. That reaches the fence. Scott Patterson picks it up. Stop sign goes up for Nick Mullins at third as he gets that ball in quickly. Scott Patterson has been a busy man out there in left field as a lot of balls have been sent his way by this Gremlins lineup. Matthew Waugh takes that pitch down and out, punches it off the wall, and aboard with another double. Matthew Waugh, Joe, is got to be, if they keep this run going, he's going to be not just in the all-world contention, he's going to be the MVP leader.
10 for 15 so far.
That is unconscious. Was that coming in, or is that including today now?
That's including today.
So 2 for 3. Jerome Remicky having himself a whale of a tournament too. Let's see if he can hit it past 14 feet here with this at bat, Joe. That little nubber in the first took the catcher deep. Big cut, but right back to the screen, and you just get the sense, Joe, that this there's something pending here with Jerome Remicky at the plate.
Juan Policio warming up in the bullpen for Hill United.
And this one is straight up and straight back out of play. Long delay in between pitches here, Joe.
Yes.
I know the ball went out of play. There's only one in the basket on the third base side, and we're checking on the count. Reese Casely is
questioning the count.
They've got 1 and 2 on the scoreboard. We've got 2 and 2, and indeed the scoreboard just needed to get caught up. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Matthew Waugh is at second. Nick Mullins is at third. And now full count to Jerome Remicky. That big 8-2 lead for the New York Gremlins. They got 2 in the first, 6 in the second. 2 big 3-run home runs. Beninoka, Cole Evans have powered this offense.
10 hits so far today.
Ball 4 to Jerome Remicky, and as Steve Mullally was saying an inning ago, Joe, you've got more options with the bases loaded than you do with runners on second and third defensively. 1 out, but you need a little bit of cooperation from the Gremlins. And they got the tapper back to the pitcher the last time around. Beninoka has been on fire the last 2 games. There's a called strike on the inside corner. He's got 4 RBIs already today. He had a big 2-run home run yesterday.
This is first look at Jordan Graham today.
Inside corner, 1-on-1. Joe, these teams had played each other 4 times, I think, coming in.
Yes, 4 times. They were playing in the Simcoe tournament in June. 8-4 score, July, for early weeks of July at Boys of Summer. And they were played together in Ashland and at the Mankato. What was the championship?
That was the USA National. That was in the winter bracket final as the final day got rained out. Gremlins 4-0, that 9-0 win here at Boys of Summer. That was a no-hitter for Jack Besgrove in that one. And in Simcoe, you and I, Joe, did that game. The Gremlins had to come from behind. Blake Hunter hit a big grand slam late, and that propelled the Gremlins to that one.
Yeah, United have to try and shut that door.
Beninoka down on strikes, and a real good sequence there, Joe, by Jordan Graham. Worked him down and in, and got Benny to chase that drop ball in the inside corner. Let's look at strike 3. There it is. A great pitch from Jordan Graham.
Great location.
Joe, we're about an hour and 20 minutes into this one as we started at, was it 9:50 or 9:55 that we started?
Yeah, 9:55.
So about an hour and 15 minutes into this one. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. And with all of the offensive fireworks, we're just in the bottom of the 3rd. But we can't say it's not entertaining. Far from it.
No.
We've seen home runs. We've seen some very nice defense. A 2-out, bases loaded opportunity for Eric Ochoa. And we've seen big things in these kind of situations from Eric in the past. And fouls that one straight back to the screen or off the screen, down to one knee on the swing. The old expression, swing hard in case you hit it.
Yes. Eric Ochoa loves that high pitch too, and he'll spray that whole field.
Yeah. Can hit the ball out to left, left center, right, dead center.
Wherever that pitcher wants to deliver it, he'll smack her out.
Strike on the outside corner, nod of approval from Eric Ochoa. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jordan Graham trying to work out of another jam that the Chiefs have been in every inning facing this high-octane offense for the New York Gremlins. Change-up, swing and a miss, and a great job by Jordan Graham to get out of that. Jordan's got a big grin as he's looking into Josh McGovern. An inspired pitch selection by Josh McGovern behind the plate. They work out of the jam. They throw up a 0. Now they've got to go back to work, Joe, and put up some crooked numbers on the top side of that scoreboard. Come back, find out.
Catcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
For the best bear tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with two of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
Bruno Matroni to lead things off for the Hill United Chiefs. Top of the 4th inning now. Joe, and a little bit of momentum on their side after they escaped that bases-loaded jam. A great pitch from Jordan, 2 great pitches from Jordan Graham. The strikeout Beninoka and then Eric Ochoa. Drop on the inside corner and a changeup.
Pinpoint location. Job well done.
Swing and a miss by Matroni. And Joe, you just don't get the sense that Bruno's been healthy the last couple of years. We know he had the groin injury at the World Cup. Has not done much catching at all. Maybe only a couple of games here and there for the Chiefs. It's been Josh McGovern's time behind the plate. Even Tony Gonzalez pressed into service when Josh was down with an injury at Mankato and at the USA National Tournament and in Elkland too, kind of late in the season. Chases upstairs, and there's really no leg kick there. It's all arms from Bruno.
Yes.
Second baseman, Tony Gonzalez.
Just not able to drive off those legs. Can't get any power out of the legs. He's swinging all with the arms and the shoulders.
Tony Gonzalez, base hit back up the middle.
Catcher, Josh McGovern.
Josh McGovern now to the dish. Steve Mullally talked about his eye at the plate and 8 walks, Joe. That's pretty good.
That's great.
That is a good eye.
Well, as a catcher, you should have a good eye, I guess. You're always seeing that ball coming in from the pitcher's hand. He knows that strike zone.
That's more than a walk a game. That means you're on base for the next guy, It means you're setting the table. That's good stuff from Josh.
This is Hill United's 6th game of the tournament.
Fouls that straight back.
Ooh.
And in for called strike 3, Josh McGovern sat down looking.
Right fielder, number 59.
4th strikeout for Besgrove.
Alan Pecker now to the plate. And that is a fair ball down the... No, it's not a fair ball down the right side. It just took a bit of a turn at first base. It started fair, absolutely, but then kind of sideswiped the orange bag.
Alan Pecker tried to sell it to the umpire by moving down the line a little bit.
Well, you've got to go. I mean, you hit it like that, and you don't know if it's going to stay fair or not. This one is lifted up. That's going to be a tough play. Evans backpedaling is called off by left fielder Matthew Waugh. Dropped his hat, but didn't drop the ball. And a quick inning for Besgrove as he sets down the Chiefs in order. Sorry, did not. Tony Gonzalez with the base hit, but relatively quick inning nonetheless. Throw up a 0 in the top of the 4th. The Gremlins coming back to the plate in the bottom half. 8-2. We'll see if Jordan Graham can keep the door nailed shut.
Does your game need work? Want to get better every game? Every at-bat? You need Lumberjack Sports. Focusing on exceptional quality and providing players with reliable, long-lasting product, Lumberjack Sports brings you in-game equipment and off-field workout gear, designed and tested by top fastball player Nick Shales. Learn from the best. Play like the best. Check out lumberjacksports.ca to put your game over the top.
Joe, it was quite the hectic start to this one with the Gremlins pushing across 8 runs in the first couple of innings. Seemed to have settled down a little bit. Bradley Ezekiel with the 2-run shot in the top of the third. And now we've got a bit of a slowdown here as umpire Glenn Brown is looking back through the screen about something. And Zenon Winters, Josh McGovern are going to come over here to join him. Not sure what this one is about, Joe. We're looking for a ball, maybe? I don't know. Jeff Ellsworth emerges from the dugout. Reese Evans is down to ask and inquire what's going on. Glenn Brown talking to Reese. Something is causing a delay, and I'm not sure what it is. We just are up here in the broadcast trailer, not privy to this particular conversation, but Glenn Brown is looking for something from Randy McLam as he's just appeared. Randy McLam is our umpire-in-chief. You saw them conferring just out of your frame there on the right side, just past Reese Casely as he now is leaning in. And Jeff Ellsworth has come down to find out what's going on. Whatever it is, it's enough to attract the attention of our UIC. Ellsworth is now going to get the explanation. Casely's waiting for his turn.
No idea.
Maybe we'll go take a quick run in between innings, and later we'll find out what this is about. But now Ellsworth, and looks like Randy has come back for some additional conversation over at the fence. Luciano, is there a microphone on that robot cam? They're standing right beside it. we can eavesdrop. Well, whatever it is, it looks like it's been resolved as Jeff Ellsworth has headed back to the Chiefs bench. And Zenon Winters will dig in at the back of that left side batter's box. Glenn Brown gets in behind Josh McGovern. We're set to go. Jordan Graham comes in, ball 1 to start the home half of the fourth. And can't even begin to speculate what that one might have been about, Joe, but we'll see if we can track down somebody that was a part of the conversation.
Sure. Zenon Winters 1 for 1 so far. Got walked back in the first inning. Singled and scored in the second. He is 4 for 12 in the tournament. Up-to-date stats.
Hard to hopper out to Shane Boland.
Great play.
He makes Jonathan Lynch stretch and stay on the base. Var Matiosian is going to ask, but Jan Hora looked like he was had a foot on the base. Just.
Cole Evans now at the plate. Ran into that double play in the first inning and then a 3-run shot back in the second inning. Driving in Winters and Ochoa. Jordan Graham on the pitcher mound now, second pitcher in the game. Just inside.
Evans, that huge 2 or 3-run shot. And this one is laced out to center right. That's going to scoot all the way to the wall. Evans up to second and will put out the e-brake as Bradley Ezekiel throws a strike from the fence in center right to third.
Great arm.
Evans wisely seeing who had picked up the ball out there. And just stops at second. Your scoring position, you don't need to force it at third.
Right fielder, number 33, Brian Avery.
Brian Avery will step in. upstairs from Jordan Graham.
Avery's had an off tournament. 1 for 12 so far.
Yeah, a little quiet from Brian Avery. Good defensively, as he always is. You can't have all 9 guys going all the time. Well, you can, but... Called strike, 2 balls and 1 on Brian Avery. Cole Evans out at second base. I want to thank Hank DeWild, who has brought us some treats from his garden. Ladislav Maller-Zook will step up. That slap single got things going for them in the second inning. And a fresh tomato, too. That is beautiful. Thank you, Hank DeWild. Awesome stuff. Fresh from the garden, Joe.
Larry, you have your lunch.
Just misses downstairs. Maller-Zook just turned his back before that pitch had even hit the glove of Josh McGovern. Can't believe that he watched that go by.
Sometimes you're expecting something and anticipating a pitch, throw something completely different.
And there's that great hop off the fence. McGovern turned around, the ball was right into his chest, and Cole Evans, who had broken off the bag, seeing it was sailing over the glove, had to turn and speedily retreat back to third. Little slow roller, that's going to elude Shane Boland, and Laszlo Maller-Zook picks up an RBI and drives in Cole Evans. The Gremlins get back on the board here in the fourth. 9-2 now.
Second time Maller-Zook has gone to the left side of the infield.
And as far over as Nick Shales plays, that ball was not available to him. And Joe, that is a big run for the New York Gremlins. They will need just 3 outs in the top of the 5th to end this one early on the run rule. Mullins at the plate. Chopper in the infield. Shane Boland goes a mile and a half into the hole and just about gets Nick Mullins. He threw that from short left, Joe. Look how far Shane Boland goes into the hole.
But he threw that all with his arm and his shoulder.
And just missed getting Nick Mullins. Boy, that was close. What a great play defensively from Shane Boland.
That is top notch.
That is close. Pinch runner for Nick Mullins as Tani Mumu comes on to run. Also Maller-Zook out at second, and back to the top of the shop for Matthew Waugh. 2 doubles, ringing both of them off of the fence. Upstairs to Matthew Waugh. And run the count, Joe, to 3-0, and we're a pitch away from yet another bases loaded situation for the Gremlins.
Well, they had the bases loaded last inning, but some key strikeouts there.
And in the second.
By Jordan Graham.
So Waugh, I think discretion the better part of valor there, Joe. Just start with a fresh count. You don't want to lay one in for Matthew Waugh, but that will be it for Jordan Graham. We'll take a break as Juan Podolicio will come on to face Jerome Remeke with the bases loaded. Stay with us on the ISC Network. Jerome Remeke to face Juan Podolicio with the bases loaded. Joe, we got an answer to what that big conversation was about. We'll get to that. That clips Remeke on the shoulder, and the easiest RBI that Jerome Remeke will pick up this week. Jack Besgrove apparently has got a Band-Aid on his pitching hand, and the Chiefs were inquiring about whether that was any type of rules violation. Let's use that term, because I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no.
Fair question.
Yep.
Inside to Anoka. Juan Podolicio, the guy that Steve Mullally would not want to be up here against. He was the answer to the trivia question, who on the podcast, as Steve Mullally talked about, as giving him fits over the years, and give away a T-shirt to Craig Butter of Cobourg, Ontario. Oh, my goodness! Oh, my goodness! A grand slam for Ben Anoka to go with his earlier 3-run home run. Ben Anoka puts an exclamation mark on this one.
Just got a hold of that pitch and drove it.
Wow.
8 RBIs in today's game.
That's the ball game.
14-2, and that is the ball game, Joe. The 12-run rule differential. Then the Gremlins will advance to take on the Niagara Stompers. Ben Anoka ends it with a walk-off grand slam. How about that?
Well, our next game now will be the New York Gremlins against the Niagara Stompers.
Stay tuned for that one, probably starting at about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to say 5 to 1 local time here in Denmark, Wisconsin. Blair Setford, Joe Todd. Thanks to Steve Mullally for joining us. Luciano Lafrano, Carol Doreste. Hill United Chiefs will finish 4th. New York Gremlins will move on and battle in the second place or for a spot in that championship game.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now. SoftballPremierTV.com. Live it on Softball Premier.